But because for many people, maximum 3 minutes, those positions should have been filled by substantive ministers. But it seems the president.
If our compatriots had died in normal circumstances, I think that the president would have acted normally. Within 40 days, the president would have acted. I can be sure about that. But our compatriots did not die in normal circumstances. The extraordinary situation in which they perished, the fact that the whole country was thrown into mourning, requires that you take into cognizance the sensibilities of Ghanaians in running the country. And I believe that was the most appropriate thing to do. And you can see clearly that all through this period, the president insulated the tragedy from partisan political consideration. All through the period.
I see. So for you, the 1 year was necessary.
It brought a closure to the whole thing. It brought a closure. We have mourned 1 year for the loss of our compatriots. We have been able to meet the legitimate aspirations of the family to take care of them. While in this period that we lost their breadwinners, we have established a fund, and just on the 5th of August, we met at the Flagstaff House to give them our widow's mite and to assure them that they are in our heart and that we will not abandon them. And then we did the 1 year anniversary at UPSA, and then that brought to a closure the whole period and freed the hand of the president in nominating somebody to fill in the vacancy.
I see. Well, and I'll come back to the matter of closure, but let's first start with the names you've seen. Dr. Zanato Agyemang-Rawlings. In fact, there were many people who thought. Did you also think she should have gone to the defense ministry? Because there was many people who were thinking that.
The idea of Dr. Zanato Agyemang-Rawlings going to the defense minister were a combination of two factors led to this perception that she could go to the defense ministry. One, the pervasive influence of his father within the armed forces, and the fact that some members of the armed forces still have goodwill for the father, and so they thought that it would be a natural sequence if Dr. Zanato Agyemang-Rawlings went to the ministry. The second thing is, while we were in opposition, she was the ranking member of Defense and Interior. And she served on the Defense Committee for a very long time, Interior and Defense Committee. And so, again, never mind that she's a doctor in the medical sciences, but because of the family connection with the armed forces and the familiarity, if you want, of the workings of the armed forces, by reason of the fact that he's one of the longest serving members of that committee, people clamored. But you see, the president is a chess player. I always give that example. The president knows when to move the pawn, when to move the queen, when to move the jacks. He knows that because he's playing this game to win. The president is playing this game to win. He's playing to leave a lasting legacy. He's playing to ensure that the expectations of the people of Ghana are on him. The fact that they gave him an overwhelming mandate to come back to right the wrongs that have been visited on us by the previous administration. He knows of the enormity of the tax. And that is why he's carefully picking people to occupy those positions.
Do you think, she's a medical doctor, her background is medicine, she seems to be talking a lot about climate change, the environment recently. Does this one fall in line for you?
Oh, before you become a medical doctor, you would have read sciences. Climate change is about science. The science and the data is talking to us that, one, the androgynous activities of humans is causing strain on the environment, like that our crops are no longer doing well. We can no longer predict rainfall patterns. The traditional species are dying off, and all those things. So I believe that she will bring her knowledge in the sciences to bear on her duty as the environment minister.
There's an interesting one that took all of us by surprise. Mahama Yariga then going to Ministry of Local Government Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. You have been quite impressed with the work he's done as the majority leader. Did this surprise you at all?
Oh, yes, I got to what I said earlier. It is the president who is moving the chips, and at the baseline is the fact that the president is playing this game to win. I will not be surprised if in the next few weeks you are hearing that the president is taking further action on his ministers or his appointees, because he's not in this game because he wants to be president. He wants to leave a lasting legacy, and you must understand it that way. Ayerega did very well. I have known him since we were in Legon. I have known him since we entered into practice. In fact, I was part of the NGO they set up, Legal Resources Center, to extend legal services to the marginalized and mostly people in prisons who were locked up on remand and could not get out. Together with Raymond, we did a lot of work. Before he went to Harvard to do his master's, he came back. I know the story of his going into Parliament. And since he went into Parliament, he only lost once, and that resulted in the Osman Bilbio case, that he challenged the man who toppled him on the fact that guy was not a Ghanaian, and won. And then he came back to Parliament. He's been a conscientious, diligent worker in Parliament. In fact, when he's making his submissions, you might think that he's not serious, but in that submission, you will see wisdom, you will see intelligence, you will see brilliance in Ayerga's submission. And he makes them without any fear of anybody. He holds his ground on his own. On his own. On one or two occasions, I had the privilege of calling to congratulate him on how he handled matters of controversy in the House of Parliament. But underlying fact, the president thinks his energies will help him, achieve his mandate and his goals if he's moved from the majority leadership onto the Ministerial of Local Government and Rural Development.
Do you have any doubts about his ability to deliver in that position?
Ayerga has been minister for 3 or 2 ministries. He's been Minister of Environment before. He's been Minister for Youth and Sports. And in all those ministries, on both ministries, he's delivered. He's been a majority leader. With majority leader's position is coterminous to the leader, the Minister of State. So we just spoke about it. He delivered. So I have absolutely no reason to think that Mahama Ayerga, the Honorable Mahama Ayerga, will not deliver in the Ministry of Local Government, Rural Development.
But I think is it one of your colleagues on the minority side? I think was it Dominic Nito who raised the issue of the fact that one of the things he has to do is the chieftaincy matter, and he has one problematic one in his backyard that he should be seen as an independent person, not be part of who are trying to resolve the problem. That will become a difficulty, a legacy that will hang around his neck.
It's not a legacy. It's a position. He comes to the ministry with a position of strength. He understands the ravages of chieftaincy conflict. He understands it perfectly, and so I believe that he will use that experience to leverage on the need to bring sanity into the chieftaincy institution and prevent conflict, because he himself is a victim of chieftaincy conflict. So Dominic Nitowood's assertion and claim is not supported by evidence. He, Dominic Nitowood, apart from being in the leadership of Parliament, he has never been a military officer. He had never been to the security services, but he was defense minister for 8 years. In fact, Nana Akufo-Addo gave him the defense ministry while they were still in opposition. So it was not on the basis of his competence or merit. It was the president exercise of his prerogative to appoint somebody to the ministry. And he did that. He assured Nitugu that he would send him to the defense ministry if the NPP won the election. And did that. Not because Nitugu is a fine soldier, not because Nitugu is conversant with the work of the security services, but the president just exercised his prerogative. And I don't think that we will say that Nitugu did not succeed, because if he did not succeed, why did the president keep him there for 8 years?
I see. Then, okay, that opens up a vacancy for the position of majority leader, and we'll come back to the person who has been nominated to fill it. Ministry of Defense, Honorable Kenneth Gilbert J, and the Ministry of Water, Works, Housing and Water Resources will be Ahmed Ibrahim. What do you make of those choices?
Well, for Gilbert J, I do not know him very well because I have not worked with him. Last time I was in government, I understand he was a deputy minister of defense.
Yes.
So the president, if you watch the appointment formula of the president, is elevated deputy ministers because of their work. Those who have done work in ways that wins his confidence, he's elevated them. Ginapo was a deputy minister. He's been elevated. Mutala, my cousin Mutala, was a deputy minister. He was elevated. And many more. I can mention many more people who were elevated by reason of the fact that they held deputy ministerial position. So it doesn't come to me as a surprise that even though I do not know him so well, because he served in as a deputy minister of defense in the first administration of John Mahama, he won the confidence and admiration of the president, His Excellency John Mahama. That might explain why, even in the first appointment, he was made a substantive minister in the second John Mahama administration, responsible for water resources, works and housing. I myself, I was a deputy minister of energy during the Mahama Mills administration. When John Mahama became president, substantive president of the country in 2013, he elevated me to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. So when you look at the president, it appears to me that that is his appointment formula. Those deputy ministers who performed well will be elevated. Omane Buama was a deputy minister of communication. He was elevated in the second term of John Dramani Mahama and further appointed, in the first term of John Dramani Mahama and further appointed in the second term. Okutatu Ablakwa was a deputy minister in the first term of John Dramani Mahama. He has been elevated. So what the John Dramani Mahama has an appointment formula, and then earlier we started studying it to understand the better.
I see. So that brings us to Parliament. James Algaga is the choice to be majority leader. What do you think?
James Algaga presently is a fourth-term member of Parliament. He is one of the senior members of Parliament. So, on the basis of seniority, James Algaga is more than qualified because he understands the inner workings of Parliament. He is a fourth-time member of Parliament. Also goes to show that James Agalaga has won continuously the endorsement and support of his people. That's why, by the end of this ninth Parliament, he would have been a fourth-term member of Parliament. He was a deputy minister for Interior during the first John Dramani Mahama administration. He served on the Defense and Interior Committee for a very long time. When I was in Parliament, anytime there was a contentious issue and we had to debate, if I didn't make it to the list of those who will lead the debate, James Agalaga will be there to lead the debate. So when you talk about debate, check him. He checks the box because he knows what to say and what time to say it and to make an impact. Now, I also know as a matter of fact, that James Agalga was called to the bar 4 years before Afenyomakin got called to the bar. 4 years before Afenyomakin. So in the legal profession, yes, he went to the bar first. And so he is a senior at the bar to Afenyomakin. They came to Parliament at the same time. He caught the attention of the president to make a minister, to help manage a ministry. I don't think that Afenyomakin, since he came to Parliament, has been given that position to help manage the ministry. The best position he has been deputy majority leader and now substantive deputy majority leader, finally majority leader, and now he's minority leader. So if we balance the scale in terms of administration, holding people of diverse backgrounds together, James Agalga tops the chart because he's managed people other than members of parliament. What Afenyomakin has been doing has been managing members of parliament. And members of parliament are beautiful, conscientious citizens of this country. They know the rules because they are all bound by the standing orders of parliament. So managing them becomes easier. And like I said, you are looking to see, many people say, can you hold the majority in check? Watch the space. Watch the space. Agalga is not a pushover. It's not a walkover. Agalga will stand his ground and demonstrate his intelligence and prowess when Parliament reconvenes, and to the admiration of all Ghanaians. Believe me when I say so.
One of the things we've come to learn is that the leader in the majority-minority leadership, there are two things you do. First of all, you are managing the group, their expectations. You are helping them with their struggles, because being a member of parliament, is not that easy. So first, he needs to lead the group and need to earn the trust and confidence of everybody within the group before moving on to tackling the minority. Do you think he has what it takes to win the confidence of the group, or will the group immediately, because sometimes when a leader is named, immediately the leader is named, people are excited about it because they know or they have fully accepted that leader? Will he enjoy that acceptance based on who you know him to be?
Oh, you didn't add a third one.
Which one is the third one?
He also leads government business.
Yes.
And so the executive will be interested in who can lead government business. So that's why it's called the leader of government business in the House. The party will want to know who is it in parliament who can hold the minority in check, give them their say, respect them, but ensure that they don't derail the program of government. The choice of a majority leader in parliament or a minority leader or leadership of parliament involves all stakeholders of the party. The party itself, its council of elders, the executive, the members of parliament themselves. So I have no doubt that whether it was an open survey or a secret survey, the members of parliament will have been consulted on who is best suited to lead them in parliament. Even if they were not, assuming that they were not consulted before the nomination, the name of Agalga will be presented to them to elicit their comments and views. And they will only proceed to announce it if they are, the party and government is confident that the Agalga can play the role of majority leader in parliament. So I'm sure the announcement of his name by the party is significant evidence that Agalga has the support of his caucus in parliament, has the support of the executive, and has the support of the party.
Well, Alhaji, I need to let you go. But before you go, moving on to the discussion we're having next is the claim by the MPP that democracy is under attack. Of course, when they say that, it means that it is those of you who are in power who are attacking the democracy that we have currently. There's been a further claim made by, I don't know, it's in support of what some of the claims they were making. Lawyer Martin Kpebu, who is suggesting that it's becoming one too many, the number of people who have been arrested on matters of speech, among others. Why is your party in power now attacking democracy?
I don't think that democracy can only be narrowed to freedom of speech. And in fact, free speech simply means that you must be responsible for the consequences of your speech. That's why we have responsible speech. Even the Constitution acknowledges that. So I don't know where Martin Kpebu is coming from. The Constitution itself acknowledges that it must be within the boundaries of law. So if you, it is not the case that because we are practicing democracy and there's free speech has no limitations. It is not the case. And with the greatest respect to people, he knows that. He knows that free speech has limitations. And all over the world, those limitations apply. They apply. Now, so we will say democracy attack. We must look at democracy comprehensively. If a party is in power and decides to exclude a certain people for representation in parliament, what do you think they have done? They have made democracy a useless enterprise to those people who have been excluded. Because for 4 years, their views have not been part of the national conversation. That's an attack. If a member of parliament, sitting member of parliament, threatens a journalist, and the journalist is shot dead because of his practice, the practice of his trade, that is a veritable attack on democracy. And I didn't see the MPP people demonstrate during that time. When 2 journalists went to National Security backyard and took pictures of cars that had been imported into this country, which were sitting and rotting away, and they were concerned with the public press, they were arrested just for trying to get us to understand that the Ghanaian taxpayers' money was rotten away by the negligence of the sitting government. They were arrested, and I can give you many examples. When the Electoral Commission changed electoral results 6 times, what do they think it was doing to democracy? What do you think it was doing to democracy? Democracy was veritable under attack because we were invariable. The Electoral Commission was invariable, telling the people of Ghana that even though you have voted, we can change the results of the election. That's what it was telling the people of Ghana. And the election should reflect the manifest will of the people. If an institution of state can subvert or decide to act with impunity, it undermines democracy. What did we hear them say? When journalists were arrested for practicing their trade, informing the people of this country, they were arrested. So Martin Kpebu should spare us this level of criticism. If people offend the law, they must be arrested. It doesn't matter that a certain government is arresting them more than the previous government. Maybe what it shows is that These people in this current administration, people are being more reckless and irresponsible. That is what it must show. And that the previous government, not many people were that reckless and irresponsible.
I see. Alhaji, thank you. Thank you for speaking to us.
Welcome. Welcome.
That's Alhaji Inusa Fuseini, Member of Parliament for Tamale Central, of course. Many other positions is held within this. The Mahama number 1, Mills Mahama. I think that's exactly 18 minutes past 8 in the studio of Radio Gold 90.5 FM. A few things to do with, some small business to do with before